What's up, YouTube? So today's topic, I'm gonna talk about how breaking generational curses and healing family trauma, and your life mission to break generational curses is very unfair, is very painful, and it's not is there's no balance between it and there's no justice behind it. The reason why I say this is because um I'm gonna use my life for an example. So there are so me I had to block and cut off a lot of family members who were like very abusive, who were very like disrespectful, very violent and stuff like that. So fast forward, it eventually led me to having to block them and cut contact with them, right? So as I'm living life, I don't pretty much have a family. I don't have a family to rely on like that. If anything, they're enemies. So, and they never gave me the proper nurturing and love growing up. So I have to deal with that shit that God put me through. And now God also is making me attract emotionally unavailable partners to where there's a strong connection. There's a strong energetic pull. There's a strong spiritual pull to it, to these people. I feel drawn to them, and then it always end up in them discarding me, ghosting me, and when I say ghost, I'm not saying ghosting me like when we first met. No, like ghosting me after like we've been together for like a long time. We were talking, we're having that good connection, and then because of a conflict or because it's situations where it requires reflection, accountability, communication, and closure, they'll always be ended up ghosting me in a way where like they'll run away from themselves, which will result in them running away from me, not giving me the proper closure or accountability. So I've dealt with so many people like that, and this shit pissed me off so much. It's very painful, and these same types of people, like whenever I'm in a connection, these people, they always end up either getting married in their next connection, finding someone in the next during the next connection with that's long term. Their whole lives seem to improve. So it's kind of fucked up how like me, I put in all this work. I'm doing all this self development. I'm working on myself as a person to become a better person. I'm doing the healing work. I am doing the self reflection necessary. I'm grieving. I'm processing a lot of trauma. But it's just like, why would God put me in situations to where I'm keep attracting people that aren't good for me? But God purposely pays people into my life. It's not so I can learn lessons, no, because there's a strong soul tie and a spiritual connection to where I can't shake these people off. So it's kind of unfair. Once God decides to end the connection, it'll always end up in them not giving me closure or proper accountability to now. So now it keeps me energetically stuck even more. So now I have to go through a process of grieving, crying, and processing all these emotions over and over and over again. And while these people, their lives seem to improve to where they're making more money, they're able to travel, they get married, um, they find they are in a relationship to where they're happy and it's long term. I'm like, dog, while I'm stuck having to deal with not having a family because I had to block all of them, me struggling financially and try to get by in life because I'm doing everything on my own, and like just grieving from all the pain that happened, and I still got to process my generational trauma pain, um the connection I was in, that type of pain I had to process. And now I'm stuck in years and I'm stuck in years is grieving, processing emotions. And it's just like, not only that, but I'm also struggling financially, and the area I'm living in, like I'm always put in situations to where I don't want to fucking be here, but it's very complicated situation because I can't just go up and live to a different state. Not like, because like I gotta worry about the money, how much money I need to save up, passive income, consistent income, to where once I have those set, now I'm able to travel. But I'm pretty much in a complicated situation to where I'm forced to stay settled in a fucking state to where I don't want to be there. So pretty much basically I live in Kansas, right? I don't like Kansas. There's nothing to do over there. It's very boring. It's not a good place for me because I'm required to be in a place to where there's a lot of things to do over there. There's a lot of art. There's beaches. There's hiking trails. Because me, I'm the type of person where like, I'm always going out. I'm always active. I'm always, But not only that, but because my life mission is to break generational curses, I have to like constantly, because I'm always constantly evolving, improving, and having to shed my skin to evolve pretty much, because that's part of my life path. Um, and I have no choice but to do that. So it requires me to be put into areas to where I have to build myself back up. So me being in Kansas or in different areas to where there's nothing to do, to where it's very shallow and like is not a good area to be in. You know what I'm saying? Um, so so I am in the process trying to get out of Kansas right now. I'm right now I already secured my own apartment, and I'm trying to get situated with school, work and stuff like that, so I can make income. I'm not gonna stay in Kansas for a long time. I'm only staying there only temporarily, just so I can build myself back up. So that way I can move to a different state. There's states that I want to live in. So now I can live my type of ideal life while doing the healing work and focus on my goals and career. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just shit like that where like God or the universe, like if you're meant to break generational curses, or if God wants you to have a certain life path, best believe God or the universe, they are gonna put you through a lot of bullshit. They're gonna put you through a lot of things that aren't fair, things that aren't righteous. Pretty much, like there's no fucking justice. You know what I'm saying? That God won't allow you to see people get their karma, or no type of scales being balanced. Pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So, that's the type of shit I had to deal with my whole life. Pretty much, I was forced to keep moving, to keep picking myself back up. A lot of people don't really experience things like that, so they can't really relate. But yeah, so I was there's a lot of times where I really had to pick myself back up and try to figure out, so I can put my give so I could like put my life in a better life situation. You know what I'm saying? So it is shitty knowing that that God or the universe will make you born into a very dysfunctional and abusive family. So now you're forced to cut them off, but then God will also create a situation to where you're going to keep attracting partners who are very dismissive, avoidant, who are very narcissistic, and they're very corrupted. And God will constantly place people into your life. And then once God decides to end the connection, God will make these types of people move on from their life to attract a life partner. Or either they're married, or they're pretty much winning in life right after a connection with me, where I'll end up in so much pain and grieving, while they'll end up living life scot-free, being happy. It just seems like it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen this shit with my own eyes. But I've done some research. I've asked so many tarot readers and shit like that, what's going on, like what's the situation behind all this. And apparently, I don't know if it's true or not, but basically God or the universe, they'll pretty much block you from seeing people who've done you wrong get their karma, because basically if you see them get their karma, you would take too much joy, and then that karma energy will hit you right back. With either that or it's so you could do the proper healing work without you seeing them get their karma. So it's like a fucked up test, pretty much. Now, are those things real or not? I really don't know. I feel like it's pretty fucking pathetic and sad, but it's fucked up though. So, and not only that, but it may not seem a lot to y'all, but keep in mind, like, since I'm part of a life path that's meant to break generational curses or meant to break generational trauma, I'm also experiencing a lot of pain and trauma that comes with it. So all the betrayal within my romantic connections, back to back to back, the pain that my family inflicted me, that I was forced to cut off, all the betrayal, unfairness, pain, anger, sadness, hopelessness, all that energy and all these emotions, that shit hits you all at once. Not Yes, it is from this lifetime and from these situations, but it's also from past lives, past generational traumas from your ancestors, from other shit apparently. So it makes sense that everything seems so heavy. You know what I'm saying? So and childhood and inner child and childhood wounds as well. So all this shit is hitting you all at once, and now and God expects you to heal all this shit. So it's very fucked up. So this is why I have a lot of anger. I'm pissed off right now, but like I said, as just as much bullshit and bad luck and things that are not right going on in my life, I do try my best to count my blessings and have gratitude for the things that is going well. You know what I'm saying? So at least I do got an apartment. At least I do live in a safe neighborhood. You know, at least I am making in the future as well, guaranteed income in the future. I have my own car and stuff like that. And all those things I've earned myself. So those are the things I'm thankful for and I have gratitude for. I have gratitude, I have peace. I mean, not peace because I've developed a lot of PTSD from these connections and from what my family put me through. Because if you're constantly being ghosted, betrayed, people like switching up on you at the last minute, then yeah, that's just going to take a toll on your physical body. So, but yeah, so that's all I got to say, and have a good one. Peace.